Imagine being the most powerful person in the world, with millions under your command and the freedom to do whatever you want. However, this greatness comes accompanied by constant threats, wars, diseases, betrayals, and many rejections. How would it be to navigate such a life? Marcus Aurelius lived this painful experience almost every day. This is undoubtedly the most painful experience that can make you feel powerless, rejected. In this video, I will show you how Marcus Aurelius found Stoicism to be the philosophy of his life and a true antidote to dissatisfaction. Before we begin, I would really like to thank all of you for everything you do, commenting, sharing. Each like gives me more strength to continue advocating and transmitting this philosophy that pulled me out of the depths and completely transformed me. Thank you all. Now, let's move forward. It's difficult to understand why the person in question is not responding, and you feel like you're walking on eggshells. But just because she's not responding doesn't mean you have to give up and let her win. How can you change things and use that rejection to your advantage? At the end of this video, you will see how to act when someone ignores you and learn to use reverse psychology to make her regret her decision. Before I begin, I'd like to request your assistance. Please click the like button and activate the notification bell. This is incredibly important. By doing so, YouTube recognizes your appreciation for the video and promotes it to a wider audience. Thank you sincerely for your support. Number 1. Ignore her too. When someone ignores you, consider ignoring them in return. While this may initially seem counterintuitive, it can prove to be quite effective. Instead of viewing this as a setback, view it as an opportunity for personal growth. When faced with indifference, it's not merely a matter of enduring the situation. It's a chance to demonstrate patience and wisdom. Rather than mirroring their behavior, embark on a journey of self-discovery and emotional resilience. Reflect on your values, focus on your actions, and embrace emotional independence. This isn't about engaging in a petty battle for attention. It's about mastering the art of inner peace and self-control. Remember, in the grand theater of life, you are the playwright. Craft your narrative with dignity, resilience, and wisdom. Let's transform this moment into a stride toward a more empowered and stoic version of yourself. Number 2. Don't react emotionally. When faced with being ignored by a woman or a man, it's natural to feel emotionally stirred. However, the most effective approach is to maintain composure. Stoicism teaches us the value of staying calm and emotionally resilient in such situations. Instead of succumbing to emotional reactions, Stoicism encourages internal reflection. Inner peace is paramount, and cultivating understanding is pivotal. Prioritize self-awareness and respond with dignity and respect. For instance, if someone chooses to ignore you, Stoic principles suggest continuing to extend friendliness and politeness without expecting a specific response. You can inquire if everything is all right and if they wish to converse, but do so without pressure or seeking validation. Should the individual persist in ignoring you, remain composed and act with integrity, avoiding irritation or displays of vulnerability. Direct your focus inward, demonstrating strength, self-assurance, and understanding that others' conduct should not sway your self-perception or compromise your values. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is under our control, our own actions and attitudes, and to accept what we cannot control, such as the actions of others. This reflects Stoic ideals of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance in interactions. Number 3. Remove her from your mind. One way to respond when a woman ignores you is to detach yourself from her presence in your thoughts. This entails ceasing to dwell on her and redirecting your focus inward towards self-improvement. Start by shifting your attention away from her and towards yourself. Make a list of your goals and actively pursue them. Engage in new hobbies or projects. Spend quality time with friends and family, and reflect on personal growth opportunities. By investing your energy in positive endeavors, you can cultivate a mindset that minimizes the significance of the woman who is ignoring you. Number 4. Demonstrate your value. When faced with being ignored, it can be challenging to discern the appropriate course of action. One effective approach is to showcase your inherent value. Display your intelligence, humor, and charisma as manifestations of your character. Stoic philosophy views situations where one feels ignored as opportunities to exhibit personal virtues and ethical conduct. Instead of solely attempting to impress with intellect or wit, Stoicism advises demonstrating your value through qualities such as wisdom, kindness, and integrity. For instance, if you find yourself ignored in a conversation, engage constructively by sharing your knowledge humbly, responding respectfully, and listening attentively. Rather than seeking external validation, focus on embodying authenticity and showcasing your strengths in alignment with Stoic principles of self-improvement and consideration for others. By demonstrating your ability to maintain composure and respect irrespective of others' acknowledgement or validation, you align with Stoic principles centered on character and individual actions. Embodying wisdom and self-restraint, this approach not only provides personal fulfillment, but also leaves a profound, enduring impression on others. Number 5. Sever contact. If a woman disregards you, the most beneficial course of action is to sever contact. This entails discontinuing communication with her across various channels such as text messages, phone calls, and in-person interactions. If feasible, avoid her presence altogether, particularly within shared social circles. For instance, refrain from initiating messages and abruptly halt responses to her texts. If she fails to respond to your calls, desist from further attempts to contact her. Refrain from engaging in conversation or making eye contact if you encounter her in social settings. Number 6. Disprove her assumptions. When confronted with indifference from a woman, determining an appropriate response can pose a challenge. Another viable approach is to disprove her preconceptions. Demonstrate that her perceptions of you are inaccurate and that you possess greater capabilities. For instance, if she doubts your intellectual prowess, showcase your comprehension of a particular subject matter. Surprise her with an unexpected anecdote or humorous remark. If she perceives you as dull, refute this notion by displaying your multifaceted personality and the depth of your character. Should she persist in ignoring you, refrain from internalizing this behavior as a personal slight. Instead, redirect your focus towards self-development and embracing your individuality. Number 7. Engage in enjoyable activities. When faced with being ignored, immersing yourself in enjoyable activities can effectively shift your focus away from the situation and towards personal enrichment. Begin by partaking in activities that bring you joy, whether it's watching a movie, engaging in sports, or simply strolling through the park. Surround yourself with supportive friends who can uplift your spirits and reaffirm your self-worth. If you find yourself still feeling disheartened, consider exploring new venues or events to break away from routine and expand your social circle. Number 8. Foster your social standing. Viewed through a Stoic lens, enhancing your social standing isn't merely about garnering approval from others, but rather a means of self-improvement and community contribution. In situations where you experience disregard, Stoicism advocates redirecting your efforts towards personal growth and community involvement as ends in themselves. Activities such as physical exercise, pursuing hobbies, acquiring new skills, advancing in your career, volunteering, and networking serve as avenues for nurturing character development and making meaningful contributions to society. Share your passions and experiences authentically, not as a means of seeking validation, but as genuine connections with individuals and communities who share similar interests. This approach mirrors Stoic principles of individual progress, communal welfare, and fostering genuine relationships grounded in mutual respect and common pursuits. Hence, when cultivating your social status, do so with the intent of personal enhancement and positive impact, rather than solely seeking external validation or admiration. Number 9. Act as though she doesn't exist. When faced with being ignored, One option is to behave as if the individual isn't present. This entails refraining from initiating conversations or making eye contact, instead opting to engage with others. For instance, at a social gathering, strike up a conversation with someone else and avoid direct interaction with the person who is disregarding you. If interaction becomes necessary, maintain a professional demeanor and steer clear of topics that could escalate tensions. Should the ignoring persist, refrain from reacting and simply disengage. Remember, it's often more beneficial to move forward than to attempt to resolve a situation beyond your control. Number 10. Employ the silent treatment. Another response is to withhold communication, thereby demonstrating that you won't tolerate being disregarded. Stoicism offers a nuanced perspective on employing the silent treatment, rather than using silence to provoke or manipulate. Stoicism advocates for its use as a tool for self-reflection and emotional regulation. When faced with the need to remain silent, Stoicism encourages introspection, allowing for a clear and composed understanding of one's thoughts and feelings. It stresses the importance of responding, or not responding, in a manner consistent with personal values and integrity, rather than seeking to influence the other person's behavior. This approach fosters inner tranquility and self-control, aligning with Stoic principles and avoiding behaviors that may be perceived as manipulative or retaliatory. Thus, if silence is chosen, it is done as an act of self-discipline and self-respect, rather than as a means of exerting control over others. Number 11. Avoid begging for attention. When faced with being ignored, refrain from seeking validation or resorting to tactics that aim to make the other person feel like they are losing something. Instead, adhere to Stoic principles that prioritize personal fulfillment and emotional independence. Rather than attempting to manipulate perceptions or resorting to derogatory remarks to showcase self-confidence, maintain dignity and self-respect. Demonstrate confidence and self-sufficiency, not as a means to influence others' perceptions, but as an expression of your intrinsic worth and stability. Focus on finding fulfillment in your own pursuits and interactions, staying true to your values, and engaging with others authentically, without seeking external validation. Therefore, rather than pleading for attention or attempting to portray the other person as losing out, channel your efforts into nurturing self-confidence and deriving satisfaction from personal achievements. This embodies Stoic values of wisdom, self-control, and directing attention towards what lies within one's control, namely, attitudes and personal actions. Number 12. Exhibit kindness while maintaining emotional distance. In instances where you are ignored, refrain from taking it personally or venting frustrations onto the other person. Responding with kindness while preserving a healthy emotional boundary is advised. This underscores the Stoic practice of maintaining composure and not internalizing external circumstances. Extend acknowledgement to the individual with warmth and courtesy, such as offering a pleasant greeting or well wishes, without expecting reciprocity. Encourage the cultivation of emotional detachment, not as a display of indifference, but as a reflection of inner peace and self-sufficiency. This approach aligns with Stoic principles of focusing on what can be controlled, namely, personal responses and emotions, while accepting what lies beyond control, such as others' actions. GPT-3's insights advocate for striking a balanced interaction, blending kindness with a prudent emotional boundary, thereby embodying Stoic ideals of wisdom, self-control, and mutual respect. Number 13. Conceal your struggle from her view. When faced with being ignored, avoid displaying signs of distress, as this only exacerbates the situation. Instead, maintain your composure and carry on with your life as usual, unaffected by the indifference of others. The appropriate response to being ignored is to uphold a demeanor of calmness and self-assurance. Proceed with your endeavors calmly and confidently, demonstrating that the behavior of another individual holds no sway over your self-perception. Stoicism underscores the importance of cultivating inner stability and confidence, advocating for courteous and respectful conduct in all interactions, devoid of aggression or confrontation. This approach is deeply rooted in Stoic principles of emotional resilience, wisdom, and integrity, championing a response that emanates personal strength and steadfastness, rather than being swayed by external circumstances. By showcasing that your sense of confidence and security stems from within, independent of external validation, you affirm your worthiness of relationships built on mutual respect and reciprocity. In closing, I extend an invitation to join our community as we continue to delve into the depths of Stoicism together. Thank you for tuning in. If this video has sparked a deeper understanding and a wiser approach to love in your life, consider taking the next step. Don't miss out on future content by subscribing and activating the notification bell. Share your reflections in the comments below. How do you plan to apply these Stoic lessons in your own journey? And if you're unsure what to say, simply type "mind over body" to let us know you've completed the video. Your support is invaluable on this journey of exploration and growth. Remember, fostering healthier and more fulfilling relationships begins with recognizing, taking action, and, above all, respecting yourself and others.